Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be going through all the books that I am hopefully going to be reading for Bookoplathon in September, and I am so excited. So this is a readathon that's hosted by Becca from Becca and the Books. I will leave a link to the announcement video in the description just in case you wanted to find out more if you have no idea what I'm talking about. But basically this is a month-long readathon that's based on Becca's TBR game, which is based on the board game Monopoly. I did take part in this readathon last year, and I also took part in the 48-hour version earlier this year and really enjoyed both, so I'm really excited to be playing again this month. I'm going to start by doing 5 rolls to pick 5 books. However, if I roll a double, then I have to add a roll, and I think that's everything that I needed to say in this intro. So I'm going to stop rambling and let's go with roll number 1. Okay, so here we go with roll number 1, which is a 10. Which is Dice Roll Roulette. So roll number 1 landed on Dice Roulette, and for this I need to roll 2 dice and then pick a book based on the number of dots that are on those dice. So each dot represents 50 pages, and I need to pick a book that's within that page count. I feel like I haven't done a very good job of explaining that, but I thought I would do this on camera just because I like making things more difficult for myself. So I've got a virtual dice up on my phone. Hopefully you can see that, and I'm just gonna press roll, and the number is 7. So I've just double checked, and this means that I need to pick a book that's between 325 and 374 pages long, and I think the book that I'm gonna choose for this is Read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey. This is 331 pages long, so it definitely counts, and I've had this on my Kindle for a while. I'm pretty sure that this was a Kindle First Reads pick ages ago, and I have this habit with Kindle First Reads where I get the books and then they just sit on my Kindle forever. So I really want to try and read through some of them. Okay, so I've just looked through the summary on Goodreads, and actually this book sounds like my perfect kind of romance, because it's a sapphic romance between an author and a bookstore owner, and it's set in New York, which I love books that are set in New York, and it's also Hate to Love, which again I love that Hate to Love. So I'm actually really disappointed in myself that I haven't read this sooner, but I'm really excited to get to this now. I think there's a second book in the series that came out earlier this year. I don't know whether they're companion novels, but maybe if I like the first book, then I could also read the second book. And yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I haven't heard many people talking about it, so I'm hoping it's going to be one of those underrated favourites, but we will see how it goes. Roll number 2 is a 9, which is favourite genre. So roll number 2 landed on favourite genre, and for this I was struggling a little bit because I don't think I actually have a favourite genre. I have genres that I read more than others, but I think I actually have like 4 or 5 favourite genres, so I wasn't sure what to choose for this. But then I remembered that I've pre-ordered a book that comes out in September that I'm really excited for and that I do want to read as soon as it arrives. So the book that I'm choosing for this prompt is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is, I think, classed as a fantasy, but it also has dark academia themes, and I realised actually recently that I've enjoyed pretty much every dark academia book that I've read, so I think I can count it as a favourite genre. But either way, I'm going to be reading this in September, so I wanted to try and get it onto my TBR. All I know about this book is that it follows a main character who's just been accepted to study languages or translation at Oxford University. It's also set in the 1800s, I think, and I tend to like books that have a more historical setting, so yeah, really excited about this one, but also a little bit nervous because I know it's been really, really hyped up, and all of the early reviews that I've seen have been really positive, but I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic because I don't want to end up being disappointed. And I think that's one of the reasons why I want to read this as soon as it comes out, because I don't want to be influenced by other people's reviews. I did like The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, but I had a few issues with it. it. So I think maybe that's why I'm a little bit apprehensive about Babel, but either way, I am glad that I've managed to fit it on my Bookoplathon TBR. It's a pretty chunky book. I think it's over 500 pages. I don't actually know how long it is, but all of the arcs that I've seen have been quite chunky, so a little bit nervous that it's going to take me a while to get through, but hopefully it'll be worth it. Roll number 3 is 7. Which features a romance. So for roll number 3, I need to read a book that features a romance, and for this I'm going to be choosing This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal Al-Mota and Max Gladstone. This is a very short science fiction book about 2 rival agents. I think there's this battle that's been going on between these 2 factions, and these agents are on opposite sides of this battle, but they've been writing to each other, and I think eventually their relationship blossoms into a romance. I saw one review that described this as Killing Eve, except they're time-travelling pen pals, and honestly that sold it to me. I'm a little bit nervous about this one because on the one hand it's a sapphic romance, and I do tend to love sapphic romances, but on the other hand it's purple prose, and I wouldn't say that I hate purple prose, but I found that it can be very hit or miss. So I feel like this is a book that I'm either gonna love or hate, and I'm hoping that I don't hate it. Roll number 4 is 7, which is Community Shelf, and the prompt is read an author that's new to you. So roll number 4 landed on Community Shelf, and the prompt was to read a book that's written by an author that's new to me. So the book that I've chosen is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler, because I've never read anything by Octavia E. Butler before. From what I understand, this is historical fiction, but also sci-fi. I think this was published in the 1970s, and the present day timeline is set in the 1970s, so it follows this woman who lives in California in the 1970s, and she keeps getting pulled back in time to, I think, the 1800s, where because she's a black woman, she's repeatedly mistaken for being a slave. I think it was my dad that first recommended this to me because he read it last year and really enjoyed it, and he thinks it's a book that I would like too. I think he listened to the audiobook, but as you can see I have the physical copy, and it's only around 300 pages, or probably even actually under 300 pages. I've heard that it's the kind of book where once you start reading it, it's really difficult to put it down because it is so compelling. I'm expecting this to be quite a sad book. However, I do tend to like books that make me think and that have an emotional impact on me. So I'm really glad that I'm finally getting round to this because it has been on my radar for quite a while now. So this could be the final roll, and it's not. It's a 10 double, which is a small book under 300 pages. When I started this TBR game, I had this strange feeling that the last roll was going to be a double because things were just going too smoothly. So because I rolled a double, I will be adding a roll onto the end, but thankfully roll number 5 landed on a small book, so read a book under 300 pages, and the book that I've chosen for this is Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica, I think is how you pronounce the author's name. I think this is actually a mix of genres because it sounds like a dystopian horror, but I think it might be literary fiction. I'm pretty sure it's also translated fiction. I think it was originally published in Spanish. It's set in this future where animal meat is now poisonous and humans can no longer eat it. So instead, the world has turned to cannibalism. So there are these plants that breed human meat instead, and I think this book follows a guy who works in one of these plants. The concept behind this sounds really disturbing but also really interesting, and I think because I'm a vegetarian, I might have some very strong opinions on this book, so I'm really intrigued to see what I think of it. I think this is only around 200 pages and I wanted to get some more short books on my TBR anyway, because obviously I'm going to be reading Babel in September and I have a feeling that's going to be taking up a lot of my time. So yeah, I'm glad I managed to get another short book on my TBR. So this might be the final roll, and it is, it's a 4. Which is a chance card, and the chance card is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So roll number 6 landed on chance card, and thankfully this was also the final roll because I don't think I would have been able to cope with the TBR longer than 6 books in September. But the book that was on the chance card was Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't think I actually mentioned, but the books that I wrote on my chance cards were all arcs that I currently have through NetGalley because I wanted to hold myself accountable. And I'm glad that this came up because I'm pretty sure that this is already out or it's coming out very, very soon, so I need to read it to review it. Taylor Jenkins Reid is almost a favourite author for me because I really loved The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I would say that that's probably one of my favourite books of all time. However, since then I've read quite a few of her books and they've all been either 3 or 4 stars, which are still good ratings, but I want to see if I can find another 5 stars from her. And I mean, maybe Carrie Soto is going to be that 5 stars. I'm not sure because I haven't seen many reviews for this yet. I don't think I've actually seen any reviews for this yet. I feel like a lot of people have been apprehensive about this book because it follows a side character from Malibu Rising, and I think a lot of people, or some people, didn't like Carrie Soto in Malibu Rising. I didn't have feelings either way, so I do feel like I'm going into this with an open mind. But generally speaking, I love the way that Taylor Jenkins Reid writes characters and how they feel like real people, so I'm hoping that I get that similar feeling from this book. Like I said, this does follow Carrie Soto, who was a famous tennis player, and she was the best player that the world had ever seen. However, since her retirement, another player has beat her record, so she decides to come out of retirement for one final tournament to try and reclaim her title. I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to get round to this in August, but I've run out of time, so very excited to finally be reading this in September. Okay, so that does bring me to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I am really excited for my TBR next month. I feel like I've got a good mix of genres and a good mix of different books, but yeah, let me know in the comments if you're taking part in Bookoplathon and what you're going to be reading. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and click subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me, and I will see you next time. Bye!